you have a 35% chance of surviving the sales industry. And the reason for that is because most salespeople are operating from survival mode 24/7 without even realizing it. Kind of ironic that operating in survival mode is the thing that's keeping you from surviving. But that is how it is. The turnover rate in the sales industry, 35%. That's over 3 times higher than any other industry. Why is that? Well, there's a few reasons. One being compensation issues. I think we've all been in situations where the compensation plan on paper looked great, but when it came time to pay you, there were issues. There's also management issues. Leadership being disconnected from the process, not really connecting with the reps, causing problems. But the big one is burnout. Burnout is a huge problem in this industry and the leading cause of turnover. Now, most sales reps don't even last 18 months. Typically takes about 4 to 6 months to fully get onboarded and comfortable with a new offer or a new job. That leaves about a year to fully thrive in the role, which is not near enough time to see consistent success and to really get good at something, right? So unless you want to just be in this perpetual state of offer hopping, job searching, interviews, et cetera, then you're going to want to figure this out, because typical sales training and companies, they don't talk about this and they just kind of ignore it. It's like the thing that's in the background that everyone knows is there, but they don't want to address it because either it's not profitable, they don't think it's profitable for them, or they don't know how to. This shows up in all areas of life. On sales calls, though, it might not be very apparent. You probably don't realize that you're in fight or flight. It's bred into us as salespeople because we always have to be on, or at least that's what we're told. Always be on, always be closing, grind, hustle. Every month, everything resets to zero and we have to start all over again, right? That in itself creates this low-grade stress that even when we get wins and we close deals, there's this underlying feeling of like, it's not enough, gotta keep going, it's not enough. And that mentality can be great, and it can be a lot of fun to work in that for a while. The problem is that when we are chronically in that state, chronically operating from fight or flight, that's where burnout happens. Because what actually happens in your body when you're in fight or flight? There's real neurological and chemical things that are happening that people don't realize underneath the surface. When your body goes into fight or flight, all the blood drains out of your brain and moves into your organs and your limbs. And it makes sense. I'm out here in the woods right now, and if there was a bear that attacked me, I would hope that I would have more blood and more energy in my limbs so I can run or fight. In that case, I would be running, not fighting the bear. But on a sales call, there's no bears. There's no danger. There's no threat to our existence. But to our nervous system, it feels that way. And so the same thing happens. Blood drains out of the brain. Now all of a sudden we can't remember things. We can't think very clearly. We're just operating based on our baseline programming instead of being able to critically think in the moment and be fully present. What this ends up leading to, it actually shrinks your brain. Your hippocampus, that is the part where we store memory and learn new things, it physically shrinks when we're in this state. So if you're having trouble remembering your script or responding coherently to things, or you just have a perpetual state of brain fog, this is likely the cause. And we try to combat that with drinking a bunch of caffeine, coffee, energy drinks, doing nicotine, popping Zens, whatever it is for you. Really cool short-term strategy, but for the long run, your health is going to take a major hit. One of the saddest things that I've seen in this industry in my career is watching really good salespeople prioritize closing a deal over their own health. Yeah, maybe they hit their numbers that month, but they're spending their commission checks on medical bills. It's really sad to watch, and I went through this in my own journey as well, where I went through this phase of burnout where my health started taking a hit, started to get depressed, started eating like crap, not working out, not doing the things that I knew that I needed to be healthy and really thrive. And so I had to figure this out on my own. And it's up to you for your life. Sales training is not going to tell you this. Your boss, your company is not going to tell you this. They're not going to support you in the ways that you need. So you have to take matters into your own hand and take responsibility. Get yourself out of fight or flight. Find more balance in your life. That way, the things that you're doing will actually be sustainable and you'll be able to thrive to the level that you're actually meant to thrive. This is another way that the shadow rep shows up. It doesn't always show up in these big dramatic moments where you blow a call or you completely forget what you're supposed to say. It also shows up just as this underlying anxiety, this perpetual state of stress that we're living in. Until this is addressed, everything's going to be harder than it actually needs to be. It's kind of like going on a jog with a 20-pound weight vest on. Yeah, you can do it for a while, but if you just take the weight vest off, then it's going to be much easier. And so that's the goal here, is to bring yourself out of fight or flight, get into a state where you can regulate your nervous system. You're not operating off of just your baseline programming. There's no danger, there's no threat, there's no bears on the call. So what do we want? We want to show up to calls without the weight vest. We want to be calm and confident and present. When we can show up to our sales calls in that way, our prospects are going to feel a lot more comfortable. Trust is going to be built a lot easier. You're going to be able to respond in situations instead of just reacting. An objection comes up, you don't freak out and just operate off your programming. You actually handle it. When questions come up, you handle those with clarity. Your brain's actually working at full capacity. You don't need all the caffeine and the stimulants. Selling doesn't have to be hard. I've seen this in my own career, and I've helped many others do this as well, where you can go into sales calls feeling natural, confident, calm, and actually energized by the process instead of leaving the end of the day completely drained, in a bad mood. The goal here is not to just burn out just for the next commission check. The goal is to create sustainable income that gives you the ability to live the lifestyle that you want and have the energy left over to actually live that lifestyle instead of spending all your money on medical bills and anything else. And if you want any help with this, reach out. That's exactly what I'm here for. I want to help you make a lot more money without burning out, without all the stress, without the fight or flight. Just remember, there's no bears, and hopefully no bears out here either.